Well, hello, fellow Bitcoiners. Good morning to all of you in the East Coast, and good evening wherever you else may be in the world. So, just a real quick update on Bitcoin. A couple things that I noticed based on the video that I posted yesterday. We talked about some retracement levels, just kind of looking at things from our 6,000 bottom and the top at 11,788. The first retrace kind of took us to this is probably about 57, 56%, taking us down to 9,300. And then from here, we had another run up to 11,700. And right now we have retraced about 50%. And actually, you can see we're forming a little bit of a wedge here. Where we've got the double tops, and historically, if we were to go back and look at the previous month or so on Bitcoin, we've seen the double top very often. It's really kind of hard to predict what's going to happen at this point, but what I will say is we have found a lot of support at this $10,500 level. If I zoom in here, keeping in mind that the yellow retracement is based on the current run, and the green retracement is based on that very first run. So we can see that we actually have two levels of support, essentially, that we potentially have here. Yeah, I'm on a 4-hour chart, so what we're looking at here is basically the last half day, a little bit more than that, and you can see actually we are basically being stopped. The selling pressure is being stopped right at this 50% level. It's basically textbook stop at 50%. A couple other indicators that I've noticed, if I zoom in just a little bit more, is the Stoke RSI is looking really, really good. You're seeing that there's actually across in these lines, the blue is starting to go above the orange, which is basically saying that our short term is on an uptick, and then of course the orange being the more long term based on 14 periods, and that's still lower, which is an indicator that we are going to be potentially moving higher a little bit. And you can see actually, even though this is a red candle, it is bouncing between these levels, between 10,500, 10,600. We can see it kind of bouncing up again. So we'll see what happens throughout these next hour and a half, when this candle eventually does close. It would be really great to see it close as a green candle, but even if that happens, we're looking at a hanging man, which, in some cases can be seen as a potential negative. But the indicators that we see here, we see the RSI is down at, 36. The Stochc RSI is down under 10. These indicators, and then also looking at the money flow index, when this money flow index touches the band here, it's a mixture of the money flow index with the Bollinger Bands. When it touches this bottom level, all three of these things mixed together is telling me that things may see an uptick. And if you look at the wedge and you trust the wedge, this also is an indicator that we are probably going to move back up a little bit. Now, where it's going to stop, I really can't tell. Chances are pretty good we're going to be trading in this little area here for about the next maybe next 4 to 8 hours. But really, what I'm really looking for is a movement back up to 11,100 or so. But again, still remembering that if you're out of the market, I would still wait. I would still wait till at least 11,200 before you open a trade. And if we fall out of this wedge and we fall and close under this 10,500, and really pay attention to that close under 10,500, then it's a potential area where you may want to consider shorting and waiting for one of these lower areas to buy back in. But at this point, I'm not really expecting for it to go down, especially considering, we've been down at this low level on the Stochc RSI for basically the last, probably 30 hours. We've been down here at this extremely low level. And it doesn't happen very often that it goes down and stays down this low. It happened down here, but even here we saw a little bump, right? We haven't seen this bump that we've seen, that that we haven't seen here, and this could be an indicator of a bump. And if we look at this chart, you can see it's a pretty exaggerated bump that we could possibly see there, which may take us up to 11,100, but then it could potentially come right back down to 10.8. Because if we stay within this wedge, it's perfectly acceptable for it to bounce around in this level based on the 4-hour chart here that we're currently on, bouncing in between this level for potentially a couple days. So again, we're not really looking for explosive movement in Bitcoin, but just looking for a healthy return to the normal, and trying to confirm still that we are no longer in a bear market. I know a lot of people are waiting for 12,000 to actually enter the market. So just kind of keep that in mind. So that's what I've got for you today. Feel free to leave some comments. Let me know what you think, and I'll be back later to give some updates. So maybe the next one will not be on Bitcoin. Maybe I'll focus on something else. So have a great day.